Hey everyone, welcome to UndergroundSun Live with your host, me, David Franz. I'm glad you're here. Coming to you live from the UndergroundSun Air Studio, this mini music studio designed by my friend Hanson at DHDI Design. It's built into the front end of a shiny 32-foot 1987 Airstream Excella. And it's currently parked in Ojai, California. If you want to know more about it, check out undergroundsun.com. With this show, I want to bring you a new kind of entertainment to wherever and whenever you may be in the world. This is an interactive variety TV show where I can introduce you to a bunch of awesome new music, musicians, and talented people around the world. We're doing this show because it's fun, and we hope you have fun with us along the way. So join us in the YouTube chat and interact with us as the show goes on. We've got a great show for you. We're going to take you on an energy ride. We've got some chill music, we've got some upbeat tracks, we're going to drop some knowledge, and we're going to take you behind the scenes. We've got the latest episode of the Mixdown to show you, where we go into the Bakery Mastering Studios in Los Angeles to learn about mastering vinyl records. We'll be talking with Kevin Chamberlain, the founder of Upstate Coffee, and learn some artistic ways to make better coffee. We'll feature a performance from Dammien Alexander down in Guatemala, a music video from Stephanie Lynn, and an interview and music video from Iyeoka. We'll wrap it up with the UndergroundSun prize winner announcement and a house music DJ set from the incomparable Justin Paul. Let's start the show off with something a bit chill. Here's Dammien Alexander down in Guatemala playing Be Your Man.
Not a perfect name, that's for sure, baby. Use your body's love with our souls, love with our souls. Friends say I'm too much. You make me melt. The slightest touch, reaching for your love. Honey, baby, know what I'm dreaming of. Oh, I got a plan. I wanna be your man. Oh, I hope you understand. I wanna be your man. So tired of the games we play, feelings I have for you won't go away. I'm reaching for your love. Honey, baby, know what I'm dreaming of. Oh, I got a plan. I wanna be your man. Oh, I hope you understand. I wanna
Thank you, Dammien. We've got a cool music video for the album version of that song right here on UndergroundSun's YouTube channel. Should check that out later. Hey, did you know that Dammien and all of the UndergroundSun artists are on the American Airlines in-flight entertainment system? Now, I know not many of us are taking planes anywhere these days, but if you do happen to be flying the friendly skies, look for any of the UndergroundSun artists on your seatback entertainment systems. From time to time, we actually get data about who's listening to what songs on the flights, which is pretty awesome. And we found that by far, of any of the UndergroundSun artists, people are actually listening to Stephanie Lynn's music on the planes the most. I personally think it's because her music is pretty chill, and, you know, folks on planes don't need anything additionally to increase their anxiety levels, so we want to offer them some chill music. With that, I would like to present one of Steph's more chill tracks, Two Ships. Enjoy.
Whoa, the water is rising. Watching waves, trying to guess where they'll crash, and making plans, we keep losing the path. Think we know what we're looking for, missing signs we shouldn't ignore. Said all the wrong words in all the right ways. We followed rule books to some other game. Came so close in so many days. Tell me how we're still far, far away. Two ships in the night, love's passing us by, love's passing us by. Two ships in the night, and we can't get it right, and we can't get it right. Took four others back, start to move but on opposite tracks. Maybe it's time, maybe it's fate. I start to think that it might be too late. Two ships in the night, love's passing us by, love's passing us by. Two ships in the night, now we can't get it right, we can't get it right. Where do we go when you can't find the road, but you still feel like home? I know I should try to swallow my pride, but I can't seem to set it aside. No, I can't seem to set it aside. Guess it's time to give up the chase. Thoughts of you I could never erase. I fake a smile, but try as I may. I wipe a tear as I'm sailing away. Two ships in the night, love's passing us by, love's passing us by. Two ships in the night, now we can't get it right, now we can't get it right. Two ships
Thank you, Stephanie, for your chill Costa Rican vibes. All right, let's start ramping this up a bit. Let's have some caffeine, shall we? Anyone who knows me knows I love my cold brew. I make a batch every 2 days. It's my drug of choice for running my business, and even more so as fuel for my creativity. Caffeine definitely helps me write music and activates my brain for all sorts of wild ideas, like this live stream. Coffee is also a bonding beverage, and music and coffee go hand in hand. In the pre-COVID times, coffee shops were a great spot to see musicians perform or to hear new songs streaming out of the shop's speaker systems. These days, we're brewing coffee at home more, and we're jamming to our own playlists. So I wanted to bring an expert onto the show to talk about the coffee making process and how he's using coffee to help artists in these strange times. I'd like to introduce to you the founder of Upstate Coffee and my very own cousin, Kevin Franz Chamberlain. Let's say hello, shall we? How's it going?
Hey Dave, how you doing?
Fantastic. Great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, so where are you? Where are you dialing in from?
I'm in Gloversville, New York, which is 5 minutes south of the Adirondacks. So
Wow.
pretty far up there.
That is upstate. Awesome.
Upstate.
So, speaking of upstate, that's the name of your coffee brand. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so Upstate Coffee was founded in a co-op, Mohawk Harvest Co-op, which is the heart of our town. So it's unique in that way, that we're very community oriented.
That's awesome. So you know about this live stream. You've watched previous episodes, and you know it's focused on entertainment and artistry. And you yourself are actually an artist in many senses of the term. You have a master's. You have actually 2 masters in art and museum studies and in fine art. Amazing. You've won awards for your ceramics. You've been part of a beautiful bike company that does like really high-end stuff, very much artistic work. So craftsmanship, and you
Yes.
bring that to coffee now. So I would love to know, and I think the folks watching would like to know, about how to craft a good cup of coffee. Like, what are some of your tips to make coffee taste better?
Well, it depends on how you'd like to brew your coffee, whether it's a latte or a cold brew or a French press. So there's a lot of different ways that you can have a good cup of coffee. Paper filters remove some oils. If you want a nice clean cup of coffee, you can use a paper filter. If you want to let those oils through, have a French press. And you can dial in the grind size and play with different variations of all of them, actually.
Actually, tell me about that, the grind size. What's best for what kind of coffee?
Well, the grind size is fundamental. It's arguably one of the most important parts of a good cup of coffee. So Upstate Coffee is kind of an outdoor-oriented company, and we have a lot of really great ties with hikers and outdoorsmen and sports. So let's think of it as like building a fire, an outdoor campfire. So you have your kindling, which is wood that start the fire, and it burns super fast. So think of that as the small grains. And then you have your big logs that burn for a long time, and think of that as the coarse grains. So the small grains extract really fast, and the larger grains extract slower. So for a French press, you would want it to, since it steeps for quite a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, you want a coarse grind. And then if you're going to be using a paper filter, then you can use a medium fine, because it kind of goes through and goes through the coffee and goes into your cup. And if you're going to be using espresso, like an espresso machine, you want really fine, because it pushes through and goes really fast. And if you don't have consistent grind, like if you just throw a bunch of stuff in your fire, it's gonna burn funny or not burn at all. And with coffee, you're gonna get over extraction on a fine grind and an under extraction on a coarse grind if you really just need a medium consistent grind. So really having a good grinder and experimenting on the grind size for the type of brewing method is very important, and it's kind of fun too.
So I'm huge into cold brew, you know this. What would you say would be the best kind of grind for that?
Well, you're probably using a paper filter, or are you using a French press?
Neither. I'm using one of those toddies.
The toddy. Those are great.
Yeah.
Well, that sits for 24, some people like 48 hours.
48 hours. Yeah. I like it strong.
Yeah. So if you let it sit for a long time to avoid getting bitterness, which cold brew is really good for a smooth extraction, and it's known for having less bitterness pulled from the coffee. So, but really you definitely want to have a coarse grind. Especially if you're using a French press. If you use a fine grind, it's going to be really muddy. So I would suggest a coarse grind on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning things. This is awesome. And then what about like single bean or blend kind of things? What's your vibe on that?
Well, single origin is a coffee that you can get single origin or blends, and there's not I really don't think that there's a better or worse. But a single origin is interesting because you're actually getting coffee from a single area, or oftentimes just a single farm. And with that, you can get a understanding of what type of coffee you're getting, whether like exactly the height, the elevation, the weather patterns, and who is farming it. And so with a single origin, you can get a lot of information that way. And different origins like Peruvian can have sweeter notes, and Honduras or Sumatran can have more of an earthy tone, and that's kind of fun with that. So you can educate yourself. Blends are often a good example of the roaster offering you what they feel is a good cup of coffee for, like an example would be an espresso blend. So espressos pull out a lot of flavor and can be really bitter. So if a roaster wants to pull some sweetness and give some earth tones, and they're kind of sculpting it. So that is actually a really good thing. You can have a good roaster that can offer a very good blended coffee.
So you can kind of get
our Cayuga Lake, dark roast is one of our blends, and we use that in the Mohawk Harvest Co-op for our espresso machine.
That's a great lead-in. We actually have a little spot that we created for you about showing off that particular coffee. Let's check it out.
Cool. I'm excited. Let's see it.
Roll it. Wow, that was awesome.
Wow.
Thanks to Gnosis, the team that I work with that created that, Jeff and Dustin. Holy smokes. So, yeah.
Thanks for putting that together.
I mean, they're artists. You're an artist. We're all artists here. coffee blends or art. You know, you're on your website, you feature all kinds of different art. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, yeah, one thing that really sets Upstate Coffee apart and is exciting to me, and I think a lot of our customers, is that we are working with photographers throughout the whole state, and musicians, and sporting events, and schools, and there's just a lot of really cool things that we're involved in. Bed and breakfasts, ski resorts, just a lot of the exciting things that upstate New York has to offer.
And you can see
it's
this.
Fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it all over your website. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, you have these pictures from local
Thank you.
artists. UpstateCoffee.com. That is the place to
Yeah,
go.
check it out.
And please check it out, and check out what coffees you. I mean, you have a bunch of coffees. How many different coffee blends or coffees do you have there?
We have 7, working on 8.
Nice.
Gonna get a couple more, I think, too.
Perfect. Well, I've tried pretty much
On
all
some
of them.
products that we got going on that I'm excited about too. A lot of cool things happening.
Right on. Well, check out the website. My personal favorite coffee is the Sacandaga. I love it. It tastes so good. Anyway, thank you so much, Kevin, for being on the show. Really appreciate your knowledge and your passion and your artistry. Talk to you soon, my cuz. Take care.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
All right.
We'll see you around.
All right. See ya. Well, that was fun. Oh, man. Coffee. And I learned some stuff there. Now, let's come back to the world of music and talk about a mysterious art form. That is mastering. Mastering is the last step of the production process in any sort of music production. After all the instruments and the vocals have been recorded and mixed together, each song is bounced down from many tracks into one single stereo track. That's your left and your right file. This is the same type of file that you listen to through your streaming service on an MP3 or on vinyl. However, before the mix of a song is committed to vinyl or digital, it's mastered. All of the songs on an album are listened to as a whole piece of art and then sonically adjusted so that the entire album has a cohesive sound. Volume levels, frequencies, dynamics, they're all managed in this final stage of production. Mastering engineers like Eric Boulanger at the Bakery Mastering Studio in Los Angeles specialize in this process. Now, we went to visit Eric when we mastered the Iggy T and the Crazy Makers vinyl. Let's go behind the scenes of the mastering process in this episode of The Mixdown.
Hey Sundogs, thanks so much for tuning in to the Mixdown today. You might be wondering why we're wearing these silly hats. They're not silly at all, they're actually super pro because we're at the bakery. We're here with Eric Boulanger, head baker, mastering engineer, also winner of 2 Grammys recently. We're here on behalf of UndergroundSun and Iggy T and the Crazy Makers, our band, because we're mastering our debut record.
And we wanted to share with you the mastering process both for vinyl and for digital.
Well, before we can do that, shouldn't we?
Turn it up.
And mix it down.
Nailed it.
UndergroundSun is an independent record label and music studio.
We're here to connect with the music community by sharing our unconventional knowledge and by creating conversation about songwriting, recording and production techniques, and all things music business.
Welcome to the Mixdown. Before we get into the interview with Eric, I want to give you a little bit of context. If you've watched any of our shows before, you know that we live in Ojai, California. Well, it just so happens that Eric Boulanger learned his mastering crafts right here in Ojai as well. He studied under the world-renowned Doug Sax, who was a mastering engineer who mastered a ton of different records that you've heard of, including Pink Floyd's The Wall. Check out his list of credits someday. It's insane. When Doug passed away in 2015, Eric struck out on his own and opened up the bakery. Since then, he's mastered blockbuster soundtracks, songs you've heard on the radio, and even won a few Grammys along the way. Being in his studio was a pleasure. The Ojai vibes were strong and we had a lot of fun. Possibly too much fun. Anyway, let's get to it.
This is the first time that I've ever done mastering with vinyl in mind. So I wanted to ask the master himself about his process for mastering to digital and to vinyl. So can you tell me a little bit about the differences between mastering for digital versus vinyl?
Sure. Well, to start, it's important to realize that there really shouldn't be any difference, right? You know, when you make a record and you're being creative, you know, the holy grail of formats should be one that can just convey that to your listener exactly as what's floating around in the artist's mind, right? The thing that's really fun to talk about specifically with vinyl, everyone likes to say, oh, it's because it sounds better, blah, blah, blah. And the fact of the matter is very often it doesn't. You know, very often records are made at high resolution and that's what is generating the vinyl too. And the vinyl is therefore a generation later than it. But the thing that people don't stop to really appreciate is we don't sell formats, we sell experiences. First of all, you have to find the record, right? You have to seek it out. You open up the record, put the record on the player, drop the needle. Usually you're playing it on, you know, big speakers. And then you take the artwork and you go on your couch and you sit with it and you're reading the artwork while you're enjoying that record that took you this long to actually just get to play. Now, when do you do that with any other format? Like, do you think you'd ever do that with streaming? No. When you listen to vinyl, it kind of forces you to listen to it correctly.
In our process, we've talked about that experience. So we've ordered the songs in a particular way to help create that experience. And side one ends and side two begins, and you have to think about that energy exchange for like how you want the listener to experience that. When do they get up and turn the record? And one of the things that Eric recommended for us was to have sort of a slower song, a ballad sort of at the end of side one that sort of entices people to get up off the couch and then go over and flip it and then have a little bit more energy once they've gotten up off the couch and pick it back up. So we've implemented that on our record. Another thing that Eric was talking about, which I found to be very interesting and didn't really understand in this process, was if you have a longer side, you actually need to reduce the volume so that it will actually fit on a side of...
So this is strictly technical speaking, but vinyl is a physical format. And so a cutter head, a lathe, works just like a speaker. You're energizing a voice coil, and instead of moving a paper cone that's moving air, you're moving a little stick that's connected to a rock ground to a very fine point that's making a little scratch in the equivalent of nail polish. And so the bigger the signal, the bigger the squiggle. The bigger the squiggle, the more room you take up. And of course, you have a finite space on your disc. So if you're using up more room, guess what? You're gonna have less time on your record because you just burned up all your space.
All right, let's get real for a minute. When I go to the mastering studio, it's a magical experience. Everything sounds so much better, especially if you have a little bourbon in you. But when you get your masters home, you gotta check them. Check them on your speakers, check them in your earbuds, check them on your car. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the first round of masters that we brought home, I wasn't exactly excited about them. They were missing something. They were missing a little mid-range, they were missing some glue and some power that brought all the instruments together. And I kind of figured out that it was a mixing issue. So I actually remixed the entire album. I put a little bit more bus compression on it, tweaked a little EQ here and there, and brought those mixes back to Eric to remaster. And he did an amazing job. They sound terrific. They actually match what I was hearing in my head. The bottom line is, go for the sound that you want. If the mix isn't right, if the master isn't right, do another pass. Get it right. It's your album and it's going out to the world. All right, that's your Let's Get Real moment. Let's go back to the studio.
Is there anything else you want to share with our viewers, or I'm gonna kick us out?
I think I'm gonna kick you out.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your studio with us, your skills.
Of course. Well, thank you for bringing this album in.
Oh,
Can't wait for everyone to hear it.
But thank you for joining us. Cheers. Bye.
There we go.
Cheers.
Whew. We had some fun that day at the bakery, that's for sure. You know, you can pick up the Iggy T and the Crazy Makers album on the band's website or on UndergroundSun.com. And you can also check it out on your favorite streaming service. All right, I want to go back in time for this next segment. Iyeoka and I wrote a song called the Yellow Brick Road Song that turned out to be the very first song that we released as part of our collaboration. And the first song on her Say Yes album. If you ever saw the show Fairly Legal on USA Network, it was the show's theme song. And if you ever saw How to Make It in America on HBO, it was used in an episode of that show too. Now, music placements are a huge deal for artists. They can provide a tremendous amount of exposure to a TV audience, and they can also lead to a decent paycheck and royalties. So when Iyeoka and I found out that our song, the one that we wrote, was going to be used on an HBO series and on the same cue sheet as songs by Beck and Kanye West and Woody Guthrie, we were like, we made the big time. Well, around the time of making that song, we had a makeshift interview and talked about the creation of that song. It brings a lot of warmth to my heart seeing this, and I hope it will with you as well. Let's check out Iyeoka talking about the Yellow Brick Road song, and then we'll show the music video. Enjoy. The second song we worked on was the Yellow Brick Road song.
I wrote the Yellow Brick Road like a day before I was going to fly out from Boston to LA to see him, to write with him. And I was just like, I have to write something dope because I know he can manifest it, you know? Like that's what happened with my inspiration and songwriting at that point. So I was like, oh, I really wanted to, I love The Wizard of Oz, you know? And I've always wanted to write a song that talked about like the happiness and like the journey in that movie, you know? Remember how it was back in like the 80s? That was like the one show that came up all the time during holidays.
The Wizard of Oz?
The Wizard of Oz, so we'd see it all the time, we know everything about it, and it's like such a great metaphor to life and journeys, you know? And so that was inspiring me, and then I always wanted to use, do you guys remember that movie, The Princess Bride?
Oh, yeah.
There was that guy that was like, it's inconceivable, remember?
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to have a song with inconceivable in it.
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Oh, I didn't tell this to anybody, I guess. But this is how I work.
That's
like I'm
awesome.
like, what do I want to happen? And then I find ways to make it all happen, you know? And so one of the lyrics, it's inconceivable, you know? And it totally fits in there. We can be the inconceivable. I don't know, like, you know, I interchange impossible and inconceivable, and I love those two words. Like, oh, you think it's impossible? Well, watch this, you know?
Yeah.
So, and so I came here and I sang him the song, and he's like, we can do this, you know? And I was like, and I'm hearing horns for, you know, I remember saying horns or something at some point, talking about horns. Or maybe not. Did I? I don't remember now.
We had some conversations about it for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you brought it up or if I did or whatever. It made sense.
Oh my god, yeah.
We were listening to some examples that were hilarious. Like we were listening to like some '80s theme song. Like what were the examples?
We were looking at Chips.
Chips.
Oh right.
Chips.
Because we didn't want it to be like that cheesy. You know what I mean? Because those were cheesy, but it's so lovable. All those theme songs from the '80s.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know anymore besides.
There were a couple of them.
There was a couple.
But yeah.
But we were like, let's not get that cheesy, but let's use horns. Come on.
I see go and achieve the inconceivable. I know just how possible we are. We can follow our own yellow brick road. Yeah, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb it on. Yeah, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb. There's no tornado that can stop us now.
Yo, I see y'all staking your claim. Keep high, I'm paving my lane. Keep in line, keeping the aim. What to do, let it work with inertia cranks. You all ought to be what you are. Move up, this season is ours. Doing the time, you've been given what's right for the minute. And you might feel like we entice. See, keep that rolling, the road is golden. Go with your soul, take hold and own it. Hope is back, believe in your path. Now you on track and you know this moment. Get loud, get rowdy, get down. Get ready, get crowded, get round and rock this. Y'all,
There's no tornado that can stop us now.
can't stop us now. Keep going, come on.
Pressing on in the eyes of a child that's inside of me. I believe the time has come for us to choose our unity. Each moment that we walk on the path that will guide us to our dreams, we can sing another song that makes us feel we belong. Yeah, this is where we belong. We belong
On this yellow brick road,
I know just how possible we are. We can go and achieve the inconceivable. I know just how possible we are. We can follow our own yellow brick road. Yeah, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb it on. Yeah, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb it on, bomb. There's no tornado that can stop us now.
so possible. You do that.
This is where we belong. I know how possible we are.
Come on,
This is where we belong.
right here, right now. This time, son.
Yeah, this is where we belong.
So possible, so possible.
There's no tornado that can stop us now.
Yeah, Iyeoka. Yeah, B-Cap. Shout out to Boston, Massachusetts in that music video. Man, what a great city. I miss the people. Don't miss the weather, though. Maybe there's some Boston peeps tuning into the chat. Let's check it out. Who do we got here? Will Robertson, Alan Messia. What's up? Barb, Ken, Dad. What's up? Good to see you. Oh, man, this is fun. All right. Now, we're here. It's time for the most exciting part of the show when we get to do the dance party with DJ Justin Paul. We've got a deep house vibe going on this time. And the songs featured are Iyeoka Simply Falling remix by Douglas Kabakor and Dammien Alexander Love With Our Souls remix by me. This is brand new stuff. Hasn't been released yet, so check it out. But first, we need to announce the winner of the prize package. And that prize package is, we got an UndergroundSun hoodie, and we got the Iggy T and the Crazy Makers vinyl album. Let's see who the winner is. Grab that. All right. Okay. Who's the winner? Dan Brown. What's up, Dan? Congrats. You were the winner of the prize package. We'll reach out to you via email and get your mailing address to send you this stuff. Congrats, and thanks for everyone who's signed up. Please sign up to the mailing list, and you'll be, signed up to win some of the prizes that we give away every month. And thank you so much for tuning in and supporting music. Please check out UndergroundSun.com, get some merch, and check out the other videos here on the UndergroundSun YouTube page from the artists we featured today. But more importantly, please help support any musical artists out there that you like, and all of those who contribute to any of the live performances. Right now, during the pandemic, there are no live shows happening, and millions of people are out of work, and they could really use your help. Please support your lawmakers as they fight to pass legislation, and give to any artist-friendly assistance programs. We'll share some links in the video description for your convenience for you to check out. And with that, I hope that you have an amazing day, Now, let's dance.
I'm not a perfect man, and that's for sure.